After the Credit Show. You are
Mel D.
And I'm Mike, and this is our first review on this channel.
First one.
Kind of sad for a channel that's about movie reviews and took us this long to get the first review up.
Yeah, but you know, extenuating circumstances.
And we still provide some other content for you to tide you over.
Right.
So the first movie that we're going to review
is a documentary film about me. Okay, maybe not.
We're not reviewing The Human Centipede.
No. I was thinking more of The Man of Steel.
Directed by Zack Snyder.
Yep. You know, what else did he do? 300?
300, Watchmen.
Yeah. Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder did a good job with this movie.
He did. I really wasn't going into this expecting a whole lot because, you know, the last Superman movie, Superman Returns, kind of, I think, left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But
so we got a reboot of Superman with a whole new cast. We got Harvey Keitel as Superman.
Right.
Amy Adams as Lois Lane.
Michael Shannon as Zod.
Russell Crowe as Jor-El.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne made an appearance in this movie as Perry White.
Kevin Costner as Pa Kent.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the cast was fantastic. You know, it was people that you probably wouldn't expect in some of those roles.
I know, you just kind of throw this cast together and it seemed to mesh pretty well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I didn't have any problem with that whatsoever.
So basically the story is the origin of Superman.
Yep.
Alien planet of Krypton is dying. So Jor-El sends his only son out into Earth. He's raised and becomes Superman, essentially.
Yeah, because he goes to Earth and their sun is brighter and whatnot.
And he gives him powers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of people already know the basic story behind it, but that was it. Zod was the protector of Krypton while he was there and whatnot, and he ended up getting imprisoned, and when Krypton blew up, then he was freed. Him and his minions were freed, and they ended up finding Kal-El, Superman, on Earth, and so they went to pay him a visit.
Alright, so let's talk about the good of this movie.
The good of this movie, number one, was the cast and the direction. The look of this movie was fantastic, too. I really enjoyed Michael Shannon playing this character. You know, he makes a very good heavy guy. You know, Zod was just a badass. You know, throughout the whole movie. And the thing is that even though he played a badass, you still kind of felt for him in a way because he was
programmed. That was what he had to do.
That's what he had
that
to
was
do.
an interesting twist in this movie that I really liked. The fact that Clark Kal-El was the first natural-born Kryptonian in centuries. I thought that was an interesting twist, that everybody was designed and had their own goal they had to provide for society.
Mm-hmm.
That's a twist that I hadn't seen in a Superman story, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too. And, you know, going back to Zod, you know, I mean, you felt, you know, obviously he was the bad guy, and he was the guy that Superman had to defeat. However, he was just doing his job.
Right.
You know, he was doing the job he was given, the job that he was programmed to do. So, in a way, you did kind of feel bad for him that, you know, he was just trying to do his work, you know. But, you know, Superman had to save the day because, you know, humans were at risk.
Exactly. I like the fact that this movie didn't so much focus on Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was there, but the story was more about Zod and people reacting to Superman. It was a story that was real life, like, what if this happened? What if we discovered there were aliens? It was more so about that than it was about Superman.
And our reactions as humans to that if we stumbled upon somebody that was like that, you know, because I think that we probably the reactions were pretty close to how.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't treat it as a gift. They treat it as, oh no, we need to figure out a way to stop him.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's better than we are. You know, hey, stop him. Yeah. So yeah, I like that a lot.
Now we get into the bad.
I guess this could be good or bad. It kind of depends on your take of it. But there was these flashbacks at weird points during the movie. I thought that some of them were a little bit misplaced. You know, like they'd be like at the end of a battle, then all of a sudden we go back to Clark's childhood about what he went to. You know, it does break it up, that they didn't put all of that in the forefront and then have him grow up and then be Superman.
Exactly. It was nice that the first time we saw him, he was already grown up.
Right. And then, it just kept having these weird flashbacks and that in the middle of the movie where you wouldn't expect it. You can look at that as good as bad because it does break up that story and makes it maybe a little less boring.
But it feels jarring when you're trying to follow the story as a whole.
And then boom, it completely changes it. But really, that was the biggest bad thing that I had about it. That was really storytelling and the order of the semblance of the movie. But
the only thing I really had a problem with was the fact that so much of the city got destroyed.
Yeah.
It's like, I understand this was supposed to be an epic battle and all, but who's paying for that?
Yeah, no kidding. They're going to need some new buildings. Like I was telling you when we walked out of the theater, I said, man, I'm going to guess that there was probably more destruction in this movie than what there was actually in the Avengers, and that's saying a lot.
The only other problem I really had with this movie is the fact you didn't have, like, your Jimmy Olsen. Because Superman movies tend to run a little bland, and you need that character in there for a little bit of comic relief.
Right.
There were no scenes in this movie really to laugh at.
No, it was...
I'm not saying that I need to laugh like through the whole of an action movie or whatever, but this is based on a comic book movie. There should be something to get me at least a chuckle.
Break it up a little bit, and whatnot. And there really wasn't all that much.
It just felt too dramatic, like... There needed to be some character in there to provide me just a little bit of comic relief. Maybe we were supposed to get that from the guy that worked at the Bugle or at the Daily Planet.
Yeah. What did you think of the little snippets of like Lex Luthor? Like on the truck.
I thought it was nice to have the little Easter eggs in there. I think it was refreshing to have a Superman movie where Lex wasn't the villain.
Yeah. What were you telling me that I missed about Batman?
Apparently somewhere in there there's a building that says Wayne Corp on it or something like that.
I missed it. I'm going to have to see it again.
I may have misseen things, but I swear it said it.
One other good thing, though, that I did like about this, I did like the way that Lois Lane was portrayed in this movie, because a lot of times she is portrayed in the Superman movies as always this damsel in distress.
Right.
Where she was a much stronger character in this movie than what she has been in the past, and she actually helped, rather than being a hindrance and being like another person that Superman has to go out and save, so I did like that as well.
One of my only little gripes might be the fact that, sure we saw Superman like save the people on the oil rig and stuff, but there was never like scenes of him just saving regular people. It was always something catastrophic that he had to be there for.
That is true. I mean, they didn't have him, save that cat out of the tree or whatnot.
And those might have been cheesy moments, but
yeah, just a little something. But I mean that's small. But
all right, now why we saw this movie?
Well, I would say I'm a Superman fan.
I am not.
Yes, he is. No, he's not. He's not. I'm a Superman fan, so I was bound to see it. It took me a little while to get to see the movie. I think it's been out for like 10 days before I seen it. I was planning on seeing it right away, but I kind of wanted to wait for word of mouth, and word of mouth has been mixed at best about it.
Right. A lot of people had problems with the end. They say it was too controversial for a Superman movie, which we're not going to go into it, but honestly, I don't think it was that controversial.
I didn't have a problem with it.
It sets up the next movie, I think, a lot better than it did for capping off this movie.
Sure.
And I think people will have less of a problem with it when they see the direction it goes after that.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, I don't mind that at all. But I was glad that I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I saw it. I was not disappointed. Now I can finally wash away Superman Returns as being the last Superman movie. Thank God.
What type, for people that haven't seen this movie, what movies would you compare this to? It's kind of in the same genre. I mean, obviously Avengers.
Avengers is the first one that comes around. Iron Man, obviously. Any kind of comic book movie. This is surprisingly not your homegrown Superman movie. I mean, granted, the first couple movies that Christopher Reeve were in, they had more funny moments in this, so I would have to say that this one was a little bit more darker than those two. It's nothing like Superman Returns, thank God. Superman 3 and 4 I won't even discuss because you already know. But
compared to like the Avengers movies or Iron Man, Superman doesn't live up to those two for me, but it was still an entertaining movie. My grade overall would probably be a solid B.
Yes, I would have to say my grade for that movie would also be a B, maybe close to a B plus. Is it going to make my top 10 list at the end of the year? Probably not, but right now it's probably sitting around the 10 or 11.
Right now it has a spot, but
It does have a spot, but I'm sure that'll probably get knocked out by the end of the year. I recommend, though, that everybody see it, though, because it was worth seeing, for sure.
Definitely a movie to see in the theater because it's the big screen action. We didn't go to it in 3D because I don't think 3D movies really add much.
Unless it's filmed in 3D, for me, personally, it doesn't do anything for me, so...
But I would check this out in the theater, and if
Definitely.
you don't get the chance, definitely rent it when it comes out on DVD.
Absolutely.
We will see you next time with our next review, and let us know what you thought about Man of Steel down below.